Begin sitting on your heels, spine long, knees together, hands resting on the thighs. Close your eyes if you haven't and begin to settle into the breath. Feel that inhale, the air moving through the nostrils, down the windpipe into the lungs as your lungs expand. And exhale, feel the lungs collapse, pushing the air back out through the same way. Take notice of even the nose hairs that are moving as the wind passes through. Relax the shoulders here. Relax the muscles of the face. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, this is pretty intense. You're going to come up onto the toes and sit back on the heels. Resting the hands on the thighs, still with the eyes closed. Pull that belly button in close to the navel. Lengthen the spine. Throughout this practice, we're going to think about lengthening the spine as if there's a string connected to your vertebrae pulling upwards. So we're not pulling the shoulders back and puffing the chest out per se, but just lifting the whole entire body, creating space in between each and every vertebrae. Take notice of the belly moving as you breathe. Take notice of the sounds around you. On an inhale, open the eyes, lift the hands up to the sky, maybe tilt the head back for a little arch, and lower the left hand down to the left side. Walk the fingertips over to the left, right hand stretching up and over the right ear. Maybe you're looking up at the right hand. Make sure you keep that right hip still in that right heel. So as you reach up with the right, you're pushing down with the hip, creating space. Inhale, brings the hands up together, lengthen once more, pull the belly in, and exhale, settle that right hand down the right side, walk the fingertips over. You can readjust your seat, but make sure your left hip is going towards your left heel. Feel the muscles around the rib cage open up. It's not really a muscle we stretch on the daily or pay much attention to. So while you're in this practice, take every moment to take notice of your bones and muscles stretching. So if you haven't already come off the toes, we're going to come off the toes and lean back. Hands about 5 to 7 inches away from your bum, like I'm showing here. And we're just going to lift the knees up for a little counter pose, counter action for the ankles. Relax the face. Bring the hands back forward. We're going to come into tabletop position. Wrists right underneath the shoulders, and check your hips. Make sure your knees are right underneath your hips. We're going to exhale and push the hips back. And inhale, slowly come forward, stretching the back of the wrists. We're extending the weight past the wrists into the fingertips and knuckles. Exhale, push the hips back. This time maybe lower the head. Inhale, come forward again, stretching the wrists as far as you can go while still making contact with the floor. Exhale, push the hips back, lower the head. And this time on an inhale, we're going to keep the head lowered and pull forward with the upper back. So we're creating an arch here. Pull the belly in toward the spine. Really open up the back of the body. Feel every single muscle in the back just expand. Lift the belly up. Tuck the tailbone in. Press the knees and the tops of the feet into the floor. Activate the knuckles of the hands. And breathe. On an inhale, slowly drop the belly. Lift the head, coming into a cow. Make sure you're making space for the ears, so pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Tailbone facing up toward the sky, still pulling that belly in close to the navel. Still pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. We're going to begin to make slow, large circles with the hips. And naturally what comes with that is circling around with the vertebrae. So we're going to focus a lot on the spine here, really opening up the muscles of the spine in this quick practice. Take a few circles in the opposite direction if you haven't yet. Really moving with the breath. Feel each nook and cranny, the muscles of the shoulders, the hips, the back. Now we're going to come into neutral spine, tuck the toes under, and straighten out the knees coming into downward facing dog. So here in downward facing dog, make sure we're pulling the belly button in, lower rib cage drawn together. Looking at the hands, make sure that the wrists are not pressing into the floor, but the weight is extending beyond the wrists into the fingertips and the knuckles. Make sure we're rooting into the floor with the feet, making contact with all 10 toes. On an inhale, jump or step forward, lift halfway, and then exhale, fold into a forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, hands meeting at the top. Tuck that tailbone under, and exhale, bring the hands to the heart, prayer pose. We're going to bring the hands into two fingers, peace fingers like I'm showing here. Bend the knees and circle the fingers all the way up. So now we're on chair pose. Exhale, bring the hands into prayer before you drop them down and come into a forward fold with straight legs. Inhale, lift halfway, hands staying on the feet, the floor, or coming onto the shin. Exhale, fold again. You can keep the knees slightly bent here if you need to. Inhale, lift halfway, pull the shoulders back, belly button toward the spine. Exhale, fold again. Keeping that peaceful expression on your face. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, warming up and stretching out the hamstrings early on. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway, look ahead of you. Plant the hands as you jump or step back into plank, then chaturanga. Hold here, hold that chaturanga for a breath. Inhale, straighten the arms, come up into upward facing dog. And lower the thighs. Begin to walk the hands slowly, inch by inch, away from the body. So we're trying to move that curve from the lower back slowly up to the top of the back. And we're going to feel that motion, that movement, by slowly moving the hands forward to allow the weight of the body to pull. Slower, slower, lower, lower still. Keep that chin parallel to the floor. Lower the shoulders if they've crept back up to the ears. And just breathe through it. Eventually you're going to lower the chin to the floor. Hands are going to swing back around, clasping behind the bum. We're just going to rest the hands on the bum here, but lift up the chin. So we're going to press the thighs into the floor, press the tummy into the floor, and pull up with the muscles of the upper back. Exhale, lower. Now you're going to lift the hands up off the bum, and on an inhale, lift up. So the hands are staying off the bum. Tops of the feet are still rooting into the floor. Use the muscles of the seat, the lower back, the shoulders, the triceps to pull up. Keep that chin parallel to the floor. Relax the face. Breathe. Exhale, lower down. Release the hands. Bring them right next to your rib cage. Inhale, press yourself up into upward facing dog, tilting the chin back. And exhale, Keeping the hips high, come into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up, point the right toe. Try to keep the shoulders level here by lowering that right shoulder if it's come down. Keep that belly button pulled in, lower rib cage pulled in as well. We're trying to keep the integrity of that line extending from the fingertips all the way to the toe. On an exhale, bring that knee into the chest. Coming into a high plank. We're going to hold here. Try bringing the knee closer to the chest. Closer, closer. Keeping that toe pointed. On an exhale, drop the foot right in between the hands. Level out the hips before coming up into crescent lunge. Here we're trying to keep the hips square. So you're going to push that left hip forward. Pull that right hip back. Make sure your knee is moving toward the pinky toe. Relax the shoulders here away from the ears. Tuck that tailbone underneath so you don't create an overarch. Exhale, open up into warrior two. Shift that left shoulder back a little bit more to make a straight plane. Gazing over the right fingertips. Lower the hips a bit more. Inhale, you're going to drop that left hand down, coming into reverse warrior. We're not dumping the weight into our left hand, but rather using it as a guide. Use the strength of the core to hold you up. Exhale, bring the hands back around that right foot. Step the right foot back. And come into your chaturanga. Optional to drop the knees. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog, hips high. Inhale, we're going to lift the left leg. Keep the shoulders in line by pressing that left shoulder down. Lower rib cage draws in, belly button moving toward the spine. Hold your three-legged dog here. Exhale, bring the knee in toward the chest. Try to keep that right heel above the right mound of the foot if you can, pushing forward. We're really pushing away from the floor. Exhale, step that left foot in between the hands. Inhale, rise up. Keep the hips square by pulling the left hip back. Right hip comes forward. Relax the shoulders. Look up at the hands, either together or apart, whatever's most comfortable for you. Exhale and open up into warrior two. Again, left knees pushing out toward the pinky toe. Gazing over the left hand. Inhale, open up that left side for reverse warrior. Again, we're not dumping the weight onto the right hand or the right leg. We're simply using it as a guide. Look up at the outstretched hand. Feel the side stretch here. And exhale, bring the hands around the left foot. Step the left foot back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, jump or step the feet through to seated. On an inhale, lift the hands up, and exhale, folds forward here. So we want to avoid that super big curve in the upper back. In a forward fold, try to keep that lower back straight as possible as you lower down. So it doesn't give you a lot of space to work with if you're not open in your hamstrings, but flexibility comes with time. So once you've lowered down as much as you can with a straight lower back, then you can lower down the rest of your body. So we're avoiding that pulling with the upper back, and this actually helps the progress in our flexibility much more than just trying to reach for the toes. Relax into it. Feel the opening of the hips, the hamstrings. Keep the feet flexed. Inhale, lift the head. Rise back up. And lower down all the way onto your back. You're going to bring that right knee into the chest, giving it a little hug before you take the left hand on the outside of the right knee and bring it across the body for a twist. Try to keep that right shoulder onto the floor. Look over at the right. Breathe through the twist. Inhale, bring that knee back to center. Switch the legs, so bring the left knee into the chest this time. Right heel settles onto the floor. Exhale, twist with that right hand on the outside of the left knee, gazing toward the left fingertips here. Keep that left shoulder in contact with the earth. Just breathe through this nice spinal twist. Inhale, bring that left knee back to center. Give it one more hug. Bring the right knee to join it. We're going to grab the outsides of the feet, coming into happy baby. Try to keep the arms and the elbows off of the knees if you can. Feel the pulling, the opening of the hips as you lower the hips down toward the floor a little bit more. Try to straighten out the back on the floor. And when you're ready, straighten the legs and slowly lower them to the floor. Spread wide apart. Arms coming to the side a little bit further away from the hips. Palms facing upward. Close your eyes for a short Savasana. Ideally, you'd want to be in Savasana for another 2 to 3 minutes. You can stay here with me and relax, or you can go longer if you want. Just remember to pay attention to the breath. Relax the face. Really just allow your mind to be calm of anything that you might be thinking of today. You'll get to it, don't worry. Try to keep this space that you have on the mat as your mindful space, your little getaway. And when you're ready, whenever you're ready, come back up to seated position. And namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoy your day for this quick little flow to open up your spine and the sides of the bodies and the back of the body.